door, and the back window shattered, and there's a body, and there's a foot I saw on the floor.
First date that ended tragically. The horrific scene was revealed by a teenage neighbor who called 911 the next day. The couple met on social media, and they decided to meet for the first time. Chrish Smith is a 48-year-old widower living in Farmersville in Illinois, United States. He's a swimming pool contractor. According to his family, Chrish was a kind and friendly man who spent his time gardening in his backyard.
A stay-home person that literally would just work in his backyard.
Growing giant pumpkins that were often donated to people in his neighborhood for Halloween decorations. One day he met a woman on social media named Leslie Reeves, who is 45 years old. Leslie lives in the city of Troy, Illinois, United States. According to her friends, Leslie is a cheerful and friendly woman. She works as a fitness instructor and opens a self-defense class specifically for women.
Hi, I'm Leslie from All You Studio, and empower yourself against aggression and assault as we teach you easy-to-learn self-defense techniques. Power up!
Apart from that, she also took a shooting class with a trainer named Howard. A few days after Chrish and Leslie met online, Chrish asked Leslie to meet at a bar in the Farmersville area. Leslie called her friend named Nutty and said that she was going to meet a man named Chrish Smith. Finally, at 8 they met. Chrish Smith and Leslie Reeves finally went on their first date on November 24, 2021 to the Uptown Saloon in Farmersville, Illinois. They had a great time together and had fun chatting with Smith's group of friends. At that time, Nutty sent a message to Leslie to ask about their first date. But Leslie replied around 10 night.
She texted me around 10 and she said everything's going okay. She did.
And that night, the two went back to Smith's Farmersville home. They continued chatting and cooking to prepare for the Thanksgiving. At 12 midnight, Leslie texted her friend, Nutty, that she felt something strange around Chris's house. And Nutty replied to the message. But Leslie did not reply to the message until the next day. Then Nutty contacted Leslie many times and sent messages again, but there was no reply from Leslie. Because worried, Nanette went to Chris's house in Farmersville. Leslie had given Nanette Chris's address. On the way to Chris's house, Nutty also called the police in case something bad happened to her friend. Within a few hours, Nanette arrived at Chris's house, but did not get out of the car immediately, and decided to wait in the car until the police arrived. While waiting for the police to arrive, she noticed a woman who had parked her car not far from where she was. The woman was Chris's neighbor Bridget Smith, and then she got out of the car and approached the car where Nanette was.
Checking on Chrish, and she said she was checking on her friend.
Bridget walked to Chris's house and knocked on the door, but there was no answer from inside the house. It was quiet, so she decided to go to the back door of the house. When she got to the back of Chris's house, she was surprised by the broken door and the broken glass. She tried to find out what happened in the house when she saw Chris's body lying helplessly on the kitchen floor with his head bleeding. She then ran in fear to her car and called 911. In the car, Nanette sees Bridget running in fear, but she is also afraid to get out of the car until she hears the sirens of police cars entering the area of Chris's house. On the afternoon of Thanksgiving Day 2021, Nanette Stuber sat in her car and watched anxiously as EMTs and Montgomery County Sheriff deputies descended on a house in the tiny village of Farmersville, Illinois. The police and medics got out of the car and Bridget rushed over to them and said that she had seen Chris's body lying on the floor with a lot of blood on his head. Nanette also got out of the car and told the police that her friend Leslie had left last night and had not heard from her since, and that she had received a strange message from her friend while at Chris's house. After the police got the information from Nanette and Bridget, the police and medics rushed to check Chris's house. They entered through the back door of the house, which had been damaged with broken glass scattered on the floor. Police found Chris's body on the floor with blood splattered on the floor after being examined by the medical team. A gunshot wound was found on the back of Chris's head. Not far from Chris's body, a silver bullet was also found on the floor, but they did not find the weapon used by the shooter. Chrish was checked by the medical team and he was still alive, despite his critical condition, so he was rushed to the ambulance to be taken to the hospital. Nanette sees Smith being taken away in an ambulance, but there is no sign of Leslie.
Bring Leslie out, please.
At the same time, the police were still investigating Chris's house when the kitchen was very messy. A burnt pizza was also found in the oven. In addition, dried blood spots were found, including on the refrigerator and kitchen table. The police continued to investigate until they finally found the body of a woman lying on the living room floor. The woman was unconscious. There was also blood on her head, and a silver bullet was found not far from her body, and when examined, the woman was already dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Finally, the police approached and asked Nanette for a photo of Leslie. She showed him her phone and gave her the horrible news.
I'm so sorry to have to tell you this. Your friend has been murdered, shot, he said. He didn't tell me where, but he did say, I want you to know that she went very quickly.
That night, news of Leslie's murder began to circulate, and the incident became known as the fatal first date, and reached another close friend, Amy Steinhauer. Amy called the sheriff's office that night to give them Tar's name. Nanette Stuber told them the same thing she had told investigators. She suspected Reeves' ex-boyfriend Bobby Tar. That night, sheriff's deputies went to Tar's home in Collinsville, an hour south of the crime scene. Tar was arrested after police found strange evidence linking him to the case. Though her friends said the couple had broken up, Tar told investigators that he and Leslie were still together. During his murder trial, prosecutors said the jealous ex spoke with a friend about Leslie's plans on November 24th and speculated why she would drive nearly an hour from her home in Troy, Illinois. Others close to Tar had even more damning evidence against her ex, including her own daughter, who heard him leave their house once at 6 afternoon and again at 9:15 night. 2 bullets found at the crime scene matched accessories on a firearm given to detectives by Carr's brother, Adam. At Bobby Tar's preliminary hearing, details about the case revealed Tar left his house twice the night Reeves and Smith were killed. Detective Jeff Roach with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, who was investigating the case, testified that 2 silver 9mm shell casings were found at the scene. He also testified that Bobby owned a white 2013 Volkswagen Jetta, and that it was spotted several times on traffic cameras between Troy and Farmersville. Roach said at 12:09 a.m., the morning of Thanksgiving Day 2021, he identified Bobby on camera at a gas station. Bobby Tar shot and killed Leslie execution style with 1 bullet to his head and fired another shot to Chris's head before fleeing. He was sentenced to prison for 85 years, and he received 50 years for 2 counts of firearm enhancement, 25 years for Reeves' murder, and 10 years for Smith's attempted murder. He is required to serve 85% of his term and would be 128 years old when eligible for parole. Chrish Smith survived the shooting thanks to his beloved dog, who kept him safe from the extreme cold. However, the horrific attack left him permanently paralyzed on his left side with a bullet lodged in his brain. Chrish Smith remembered nothing from the night of Leslie's murder, and had to return to live with his parents for intensive rehabilitation for his injuries.
I am 49 years old, and now I am back living with my parents. I am grateful that I survived the shooting, but this is terrible.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Your support means a lot to me, and you can help my channel grow by hitting like button, dropping a comment, and sharing this video. Your engagement make this difference. See you soon.